All right, let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is pretty much Sleight of Hand. But before I get into that, the sleight of hand part is dealing with Esau. It's dealing with false brethren also. But in this lesson, going to pretty much more so get into Esau, in particular the small hats. But before I do that, I just wanted to address this video here that the brother from GMS Guyana did. He said confirmation, which the O here should have been an I. Confirmation of dream by brother Amos, Wi-Fi cold cut, and he's doing a video based off of a dream that he had. That this individual you see in the video, this brother here, which is from Wi-Fi, also had a dream. And he mentioned a similar phrase, it's time, and this brother here and this that did the video, he had a dream with the head of the Wi-Fi Naquam that he said it was time in the video, and then the men were kind of excited or whatever the case may be, and pretty much in the video this brother, and I know from the brother's voice, and I saw the brother, I don't think the brother he's being malicious or anything like that. I don't know how long this brother's been around that did the video. He's right here in the corner right here, if you could kind of see him. But he mentioned that we're in unison or something like that because we both use the name, which we both use the name Yahweh and Yahushai, of course, but they teach that the MOTB is not the micro C-hip. So I don't know if this brother knows that. I don't know if he's a new brother, that just started making videos. I don't know all the particulars. So, but we are not in unison because they teach, and they did like a 4.5 hour video where they so-called went to disprove the MOTB is the micro C-hip, and then it waited till about the 4 hour minute, I think it was, to even talk about it, and didn't even do it any justice. They just totally mangled that and botched it up. So I don't know if this brother seen that video or if he just newly come into the faith. I'm not sure, but no, we're not in unison with these brothers because although I'm not sure if they teach anything else different from us, but I know definitely they teach that the MOTB is not the micro C-hip. And the scriptures say, can two walk together except they be agreed? Now, I put this video in the description box for anyone that wants to watch it. And we are coming to the time of the end, and, the leader of the wife. Now, this man here, this brother here, that, not the brother that did the video, but the other brother from Wi-Fi, he seemed sincere. I don't know. I've seen his face before. I don't remember everything about him. So at the end of the day, we all want mercy from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We all pray to be the hopeful elect. Now, among Wi-Fi, you do have, we believe that there are brothers from the elect among them, but that remains to be seen. And the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, at the end, he's going to make all of these things known. So I just wanted to say that and bring that out in case anybody that doesn't know about Wi-Fi and what they teach as far as my MOTB is, so you don't get confused and think that we're on the same page, if we're not. You see, so at the end of the day, we don't come together in unity just because we're Israelites. We come together in unity based off of the doctrine that we teach through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, so pretty much that's all I wanted to say on that. And yeah, that's it. That's what I'm going to say on that. So the name of the lesson is called Sleight of Hand, and that is taken from Ephesians 4:14. And then this has nothing to do with with this video. It just has nothing to do with the video. This just has something to do with the title of the video or the lesson, on where I want to touch on this whole situation with Amalek, these small hats, and the red heifer. All right, pertaining to the so-called third temple, end time prophecy, which they teach that And you're going to see how they're very deceptive in everything that they do. Now, they're the head of Esau. And pretty much the very first thing that Esau did when he came out of that prison sentence, was to actually deceive the whole world. Now, I got a WhatsApp message from the brother Dawada out in LA, and he was asking me about Esau and his low condition, low state, as far as the caveman situation is concerned. And I told him, it's kind of hard to find, because he wanted to know like what the time period was, which is a good question. But the thing about that is hard to pinpoint that, because Esau, when you do research on the cavemen, in so-called prehistoric times, they'll tell you 1 million BC, 1 billion BC, so on and so forth. So it's hard to pinpoint that information, just like it's hard to pinpoint who Esau is, because one thing that they said in Protocol of the Learned Elders of Zion, Protocol 16, is that they will erase from history anything that's unfavorable to them, in so many words. But the brother did find some information that the elder bishop Tazadakba, the priest, the young elder Amawangabar, and other brothers have done videos on it, on the Wild Man or the Woodwoos or whatever the hell his name is. And the brother Dawada, I don't know if he's going to do a video on it or if he's just still gathering more information, but he did find an excerpt or a book or pamphlet or something along those lines that dates back, to the time of Alexander the Creep, or the Great, what they call him, the Great, we call him the Greek, where he actually went to war with the wild men, which he himself was a wild man. But by the time that the Macedonians or the Esau took over Macedon and stuff, they were more what's the word I'm looking for? Civilized. And the wild men pretty much goes back to the curse in Genesis 3 and 15, where they will, eat dust and pretty much crawl on their bellies. And when you understand the history of the cavemen, just that's who they are. Now, when you do research on the wild men, they'll tell you it's from the 1200s, around there, somewhere in that time period, which you did have Edomites all throughout Europe that were pretty much slaves. This is why you have a picture of a day in the king's court. You have Jake as the judges and Esau being brought before court, just like they do today to Jake in these regular courthouses. But there was a situation where, like I said, I don't know if the brother's going to do a video on it, where Alexander the Creep himself was fighting these wild men, which that was him, but they, at that point, they were more civilized than their brethren, the wild men. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. So, reading on here. Oh, so these devils, the Amalekites, small hats, they are the head of Esau, and they are the most deceptive. So Ephesians 4:14, it says that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. This is why you have to understand what you're involved in, and you have to understand who you're learning from. Because if you're learning from somebody that's blind, you're going to follow the blind, and you're going to both fall into a ditch. It says by the sleight of men, and this is the point right here, by the sleight of men. All right, which I should have put sleight of men, not sleight of hand, but that was my bad. I'm thinking of sleight of hand, should have put sleight of men. And cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. So before we look up this word, when we go to the word sleight of hand, what does such sleight of hand mean? Sleight of hand is the deceiving of someone in a skillful way. And most people that are not savvy to the scriptures, the mysteries of the Bible, will get caught up, because one thing Esau does is he uses truth to mingle it in with the lies to present his argument so it could be more believable. So pretty much he would be like a sophist. He has a very good argument, but when you pick the argument apart, it doesn't stand up to the scrutiny. So when we look up this word sleight of hand, I'm sorry, Sleight of Men. The word sleight is kubeya, is where you get the word cube from. And the reason why it goes back to kubeya or cube or kubia is it could be no, let me stop. Because the cube goes back to the dice or die playing. When you play dice, when you would roll the dice, or the die, they would do something to where they sometimes you hear a term like the dice were loaded, so on and so forth. It says from kubos a cube. An example, die for playing. See, dice playing, metaphorically the deception of men, because dice players sometimes cheated and defrauded their fellow players, and this is what these devils do. Remember, the very first thing that they did when they came out of their prison sentence was to deceive the whole world. Let's prove that real quick. Revelation 20:7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, meaning 1,000 years of Esau's, prison sentence. And that was, it started, you could say it started after Domitian, which was the last of the Flavian dynasty to rule. He was taken out in 96 AD, during the time when the Apostle John was writing that vision, the visions of Revelation. Not too long after that, he was taken down. But that the count for the 1,000 years really didn't start till about 325 AD, during the time of the rule of Constantine, because when Jake took over through Nerva and the rest of the Jake emperors after Domitian, they were still following the old pagan Roman way. It wasn't till 325 AD when they made the religion of the Byzantine Empire the Christian religion, which there's a whole lot, BS in that too. But, that's you could use that as a starting point. Now, 1,000 years into the future, from about 325 AD, would put us in around 1325 AD, which, when you go into the beginnings of the Renaissance, that's when the Renaissance began. But it really didn't take root till about the mid to the late 1400s, because remember, it wasn't overnight. So once they got their foothold in Europe and started taking Jake down all throughout Europe, they started what was called iconoclasm, which is the defacing of images, painting the dark images white, breaking the noses off of them, destroying some, burning some, trying to destroy the records of Jake. But you have to remember, you had 1,000 years of art painted, so you're not going to be able to wipe away that 1,000 years in a few years. All right. So after the 1,000 years expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, which is Esau, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. And that's exactly what they did through their Renaissance. So that was the sleight of hand. Now, what are we speaking about specifically? What sleight of hand or deception are we speaking about specifically? This so-called red heifer, third temple that Esau is pushing, that they found the red heifer that they needed for this sacrifice. And I was just watching Luke Radowski on We Are Change, and he was speaking about how that they plan on sacrificing the red heifer, if I'm not mistaken, if I heard him right, on the day of April 8th during this solar eclipse, and CERN being fired up. CERN is a particle beam or whatever you call that, to pretty much trying to invoke the demons, because Esau doesn't want to go down. And this is why the Lord told him, stand up now with your enchantments, with your monthly prognosticators. And this is exactly what they're doing through CERN. Everything that Esau does, through their scientists, through their witches and warlocks, so on and so forth, is all has to do with witchcraft, trying to stay afloat, trying to keep the people in that deceptive spirit. That's why the Apostle Paul said, if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, and whom the God of this world has blinded the eyes of them which believe not, in so many words. So when we read about the red heifer, right, this is what they're trying to bring out, that the third temple is going to be dedicated, I guess, through this sacrifice. I don't know every little specific detail of what they're doing, but we know it's not good. All right, so it says, speak unto the children of Israel, the Lord commanded that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came a yoke. And then it says here, forcing the end. So they're forcing the end. The scriptures speak about the Lord doing this thing, not forcing it. Matter of fact, speaking on forcing, let's go. The Yahweh Bashem Yahushua on high is the enforcer. Not you, Esau. He created you, fool. Let's go to Songs of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 4. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that you stir not up nor awake my love until he please. So you cannot force the prophecies. The prophecies will play out on their own through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. So the red heifer here, when you read this, you're like, oh, wow. So really, yeah, there is a red heifer. And it's for no blemish, no spot. And then you're supposed to sacrifice it for the children of Israel. So you're thinking that, damn, where is this written at? Right? Because, we know that it's written in the book of Numbers. But they're saying here, where does it talk about red heifer in the Bible? Now check this out. Some scholars view the red heifer sacrificial altar as an extension of the altar described in Ezekiel 43:21, in which the Hebrew word mifkad is translated as appointed place in both the King James Version and in the Jerusalem Bible. All right? So now you're thinking that this here that we just read is written in Ezekiel 43:21 and mentions a red heifer. Now, when you type in red heifer, right, in the search engine of the Blue Letter Bible or any other, let's see, I thought it came up a little bit more than that. I thought the red heifer came up more than once. Nope, that's the only time it appears. All right. In Numbers 19:2, which we have here. Numbers 19:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron. Matter of fact, before we go there, when we go to the book of Ezekiel, right, 43, they said the 23rd verse is where you can find the red heifer, right? When we go there, we're just going to read the point and we'll go back up. Ezekiel 43 and what was it? 21. It says, thou shalt take the bullock. Doesn't say anything about a red heifer. Doesn't mention the word red. Doesn't mention the word heifer. Thou shalt take the bullock also of the sin offering, and he shall burn it in the appointed place of the house without the sanctuary. Now they're saying that the book of Ezekiel from about the 40th chapter to the 48th chapter is speaking about the third temple. It's not speaking about no third temple. If you want to put it into layman's term, you could say a third temple is being built, but spiritually, not physically. And the spiritual temple is the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect of the nation of Israel, the true Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right? From all 12 tribes being built up. All right? Not those individuals, imposters over there in the land of Israel today. And when we look up this word bullock, right, it goes to the word par. So here goes the deception. It doesn't mention red, but it mentioned the word par. Now, par is a bullock in the male form. All right, young bull, steer, bullock. Right, so it's a bullock, a bull. Right, now, the way you say bull, the feminine tense would be parah. You put a ha at the end of this par, then you put a ha at the end, it would be parah, which is the way you say heifer. Matter of fact, let's read this. Numbers 19:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, this is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, speak unto the children of Israel that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. So when you look up the word heifer, which is a female cow, you have the word parah, which is feminine, not male. All right, it comes from par, which is an ox, bullock. In other words, a male bull. All right, then you have your cow heifer. So this is a female. It says it's feminine of H6496, which is right here, 6499. I'm sorry, feminine of H6499. H6499, which is par, which is bullock, bull. All right, so that's where the deception comes in. But they're trying to say that this, the sign of the red heifer. Now, wait a minute. The red heifer was born where? They had 3 red heifers. It goes back a couple of years back. I'm not sure. I forgot what year it was, but it was 3 red heifers that were born recently. I think it was. And they were not born in the land of Israel. They were born out of all places, Texas, in America. All right. So first of all, you're getting red heifers from another country to bring to not your country, what this country you stole, and you're trying to say that this is a sign from the Lord that you're to build the 3rd temple. So why weren't those red heifers born in your land? Or not your land, I keep saying your land, and the land you stole. Why weren't they born over there? Anyways, so what was the significance of the red heifer? It was to, you slay the blood and you mingled it with hyssop, you would burn it, so on and so forth, and it would be for the purification of the children of Israel. It says, verse 9, and a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and lay them up without the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for water of separation. It is a purification for sin. It has nothing to do with the dedication of any temple of any sort. It was for the dedication or for the purification of the sins of Israel that were put apart by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for our iniquities, for our sins. All right, and now we're being purified by the blood of Yahushai through the word and the doctrine and this truth that we're teaching. And the Lord is building up the tabernacles of David that were fallen. All right, so this is a big deception and a distraction, and these devils are trying the best they can through sleight of hand, through CERN and the calling up of these demonic spirits to try to stay in power, but it's too late. Your time is up. Matter of fact, let's get real quick. Let's get Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, because every nation had a time to rule. The last nation that would rule on the planet would be Esau. And we're at the end of Esau's rulership. Psalm 75:5. Lift not up your horn on high, which is your power. Speak not with a stiff neck, because Esau is proud. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. So a promotion means elevation, put into a higher position. It doesn't come from the east or from the west or from the south. But the Most High is a judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So we're at the end of your rulership. You're about to be put down, and the one that's going to be set up is Yahushai, who's going to take over. Is going to take over from Esau, all right, and be set up and established on the planet. All right, and then the Israelites, the ones that are of the elect, will be the first rulers with Yahushai. So let's go to Amos to prove that the dedication of the temple are the Israelites, because this red heifer was set up for the purification of the nation of Israel for their sins. So Amos 9:11, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the Lord is raising up the tabernacle of David. A tabernacle is a building. And what is that building? What is the tabernacle of David? The tabernacle of David are the Israelites that were a part of David. So today they would be known as the elect. The word there is sakah, thicket, covert, booth, thicket, booth, root or temporary shelter. Right, so the people are that tabernacle. All right, like you have booths, like you have the Feast of Tabernacles. All right, the Feast of Booths. All right, we are those booths right now that the Lord is sanctifying and building up. Because the reason why you had the sanctuary and the reason why you would dedicate the temple, and make sure that everything was clean, was so that the high priest could go and worship the Lord in the Holy of Holies and present the sacrifice for the nation of Israel to clean them for that year, for their sins. That would be known as the Day of Atonement. All right, which Esau calls Yom Kippur, which goes back to Yom Kippur, which means Yom Kippur means Day of Atonement. All right, so the Lord is building up the tabernacles of David that is fallen, because at one time we fell, and this shows you that Nepal is the word for fallen. All right, Nepal, fallen, to fall, cast down, lie. In other words, to lie down. So we were fallen. So really the word that should have been in Genesis, the 6th chapter, for giants should have been, and there were fallen ones in the earth in those days. Now I don't know if any of the other translations mention that, fallen ones, but the word for giant, as far as somebody of stature, high stature, as far as height wise, would be another word. You had the Rephaims, you had other words that could be used for that. But the word there in Genesis, the 6th chapter, is the word Nepal, or what they call Nephilim or Nepalium, which are the fallen ones. All right, which are the sons of the Most High, what today would be known as the Israelites. Back then they were known as the sons of God, which was the line of Adam through Seth, Adam, then Seth, so on and so forth, that fell from that great stature that they had, that closeness with the Most High. Just like the Israelites fell from that closeness that we had with the Most High. And the Lord, let us fall, and now he's building us back up. All right, so breaches there, and I will raise up his ruins. See, the Lord said he will raise up. Quam or quam is raise. So we were fallen, and the Lord is raising us up. How is he raising us up? Through this word. His ruins, hara yasa. Oh, let me go back. I hit the wrong button. Ruin, hara yasa. Ruin, demolish. So the Lord is raising us back up, using this word and pretty much rearing up the tabernacle of David. And that's what the third temple is all about, if you want to put it into layman's terms. Not no third temple, actual physical building with bricks and, mortar and all of that. The bricks and the mortar, the bricks are the elect of the nation of Israel. The mortar is the word that's being used to bring the bricks together. And that's why if there's any group out there that's teaching contrary to what we teach, we can't build with them, because that would be untempered mortar. The criteria is not, because they're Israelites and they know they're Israelites. No, it's more than that. The scripture, when the scriptures say, can two walk together except they be agreed, meaning you can't come together with someone else just because they know that they're Israelites. They have to teach the same thing you teach. Otherwise, there's going to be conflict there, constant conflict and friction. All right. So, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the Lord is raising up the tabernacles of David. Why? Because we are that temple. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that you are the temple of the Most High? Who's the Apostle Paul speaking to? The Israelites that were in Corinth. that were being called heathens by the circumcision, the ones that knew that they were Israelites. So he told them, look, you are the temple of the Lord. This is why Yahushua said, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst thereof. Because that is the actual church, the true church. It says, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you. Right, because what was the purpose of the actual physical temple? For the Lord to come and to, once the high priest was clean and the children of Israel, the sacrifice was given to them to clean them up, then the Spirit of the Lord would appear on the mercy seat. You know? And that's where the Lord would dwell. And that's why, you know, we are too unclean to come before the Father. That's why we had to come to him in the name of Yahushua. And that's why the very first thing that the Lord is going to do for the elect once they're delivered is to change the body, these bodies, change their mind, you know, insert the law, statutes, and commandments into our minds, and then perfect us, and we will be clean so we can present ourselves before the Father, you know, directly. So he can directly be among us. His Spirit could be among us. You know, because right now, the only way we have any favor in his sight is through his son, Yahushua. You know, and just like Yahushua was glorified, we're going to be glorified. So this is the dedication of the temple, the Israelites, not no actual building. All right. 1 Peter chapter 2 and 4, to whom coming as unto a living stone, right? Because Yahushua himself also was a living stone. You know, he's that cornerstone on which we are built upon. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick and then we'll come back to this. Ephesians chapter 2. And it don't, you know, we'll do lessons like this and they're not going to take heed to this because they're going to continue on with their madness. But that's okay. Do what you got to do. No, but as for me and my house, we're going to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Ephesians 2:19. Now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners, right? Because you Israelites that were strange at one time or foreign, that were being caused uncircumcision by the circumcision, are no more strangers and foreigners, because you were brought back, reconciled back to the commonwealth of Israel, because you are Israelites, but fellow citizens with the saints. Why? Because who are the saints? The Israelites, and of the household of the Most High, because you are those lost ones that were brought back. It says, and are built upon the what? The foundation of the apostles and the prophets, Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone. So the chief cornerstone upon which everything is built is that stone. If you build on the stone, your house will never fall. If you build on Yahushua, your house will never fall. If you build on sand, which is anything else outside of that, your house is going to fall. No matter how pretty and how nice it looks, and no matter how high it may go up, eventually it's going to come down, because what goes up must come down. Inside joke. It said, in whom all the what? Building, the edifice, edification, the build up, fitly framed. How is it fitly framed? By the sound doctrine. When you frame something, like when those of you brothers that are into carpentry, when you frame up a wall, when you do framing, you know, you have a skeleton in the building. Once you lay down the floor, the floor joists, you know, you put down, you know, the subflooring, you know, the next step after that, after you glue it down, nail it down, is you would build walls, the outside walls. And once you build those outside walls, then you will stand them up, nail them down, and brace them, you know, plumb level square. And then you would keep going all the way around. Some walls you would have doors, some walls you would have windows, so on and so forth, right? And then once that's all set up, you do the interior, you know, your different rooms, whether it's a bathroom, a living room, dining room, master bedroom, regular bedroom, guest bedroom, closet, so on and so forth. All right? Once it's all done and it's according to the plan, guess what? It's fitly framed. All right? Once it's fitly framed, what does it say? Together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord. You know, and that's what this third temple is. The Israelites of the tabernacle of David being built up, cleaned up, fitly framed together through sound doctrine to make sure that the building is tight and everything is working in unison. Because in a building, you don't have just one thing. You don't just have the walls, the framing. You also have insulation. You also have your sheetrock. You also have, the compound, joint compound, that you put on the walls. You also have your plumbing that goes through the walls. You also have your electrical that goes through the walls, so on and so forth. Then after you start going through all of that, then you lay down the regular floors on top of the subflooring. Depending if you want hardwood or if you want, carpet or whatever the case may be. Linoleum, so you could do your breakdance moves. Just kidding. And so on and so forth. So today they got a lot more advanced stuff than they did back then. But it says, in whom you also are builded together for an habitation of the Most High through the Spirit. So now we have that connection with Yahweh through Yahushai. When the kingdom is established, we're going to have a direct connection with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see? For that great sacrifice that our big brother did for us, or made for us. So going back to 1 Peter 1 and 4, 1 Peter 2 and 4, to whom coming as unto a living stone, which is Yahushua, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious, because he is that precious cornerstone. You also as what? Lively stones. Who was the Apostle Peter speaking to? These Israelites that were scattered, that were known as strangers, throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, so on and so forth. It says, are built up a what? A spiritual house. Now let me see if this word spiritual house is one. Let me see something. The word built up. Oikodomeo, right? Oikodomeo. Oiko or oikos is house. Domeo. Let me see. Oikodomeho. Oikodomeho. To build a house. Erect a building. See? To build up from the foundation. But you have the word oikodome, which is building, edifying, edification, which goes back to oikos, which is house, household, home, and doma, which is housetop. Right, so you build from the ground up, and then you have to cover it. Because what good is a beautiful house without a roof? And without roofing on it, and waterproofed and all of that. So you also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Yahushai. See, until the Lord comes back and changes us and perfects us. That's why it speaks about the spirit of just men made perfect. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone. Who is that chief cornerstone? Yahushai. Elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Why? Because he will be built up a spiritual house. Oh, I didn't look up the word spiritual house. Spiritual. Okay, so there's two separate words. See, house is oikos, spiritual is pneumatikos, where you get the word pneumatic. Like you have these pneumatic tools, which are, you have framing guns, finished guns, so on and so forth, and you use compressor, with a hose pumps out the air into that framing gun or finish gun or whatever it is you have, or that tool that you use. The air is what helps it work. That's the spirit. The air is what? The inspiration of the Holy Spirit through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. So it says relating to the human spirit or rational soul as part of the man, which is akin to the Most High and serves as his instrument or organ. All right. So, verse 6, it says, wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion the chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. See? Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, which is Yahushua, the same is made the head of the corner. It says, and a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. And this goes back to Isaiah chapter 14. Even to them which stumble at the word, even to this very day, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. So everything has to be fulfilled in prophecy. You have to have all of the examples that the scriptures speak about. And this is where the truth, it becomes fearful because, the Lord, he could do whatever he wants to do. That's why it should be no room for exaltation and pride when it comes to the truth, because the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Remember what I'm about to say the Apostle Job said. Remember what Job said, shall we receive good of the Lord and not evil? The Lord giveth and he taketh away. And it goes on to say, and this proves, the 9th verse proves that these individuals that the Apostle Peter was speaking to are Israelites. The chosen generation, royal priesthood. That was said to the nation of Israel, not all nations. All right. Right. This is beautiful right here. It says Acts 28:24. And some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not. Yeah, because they were appointed not to believe. All right. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say on that. And once again, them brothers at Wi-Fi, they teach different than what we teach. Now I don't know if there's anything else they teach different from us, but I know definitely no is they teach that the MOTB is not the micro C-hip. And for that reason, we can't be joined together with them. Now are there elect from among them? Yeah, we believe so. And then the Lord, when the time comes, he'll separate the just from the unjust. But their leader, that dude he's a demon, man. That dude is a proud demon. Now if he repents, then the Lord can have mercy on him. Because it's not beyond the realm of impossibility for him to repent. Which when he first came out to New York, he was very humble. Pretty much pleasant to be around at that time. But now, he had that leadership position, what the scriptures speak about, a novice being lifted up with pride. That pride then destroyed this man. To the point where the same men he was giving praise to, now he's talking shit about. So, you brothers out there, when you talking about these different individuals, make sure that you know what they teach before you start, speaking. Because remember, the scriptures speak about dreams too. You could be deceived by dreams. But you could watch this video. I put it in the description box. Like I said, this lesson wasn't based off of this. This lesson was pretty much based off of Sleight of Hand, dealing with this so-called red heifer in the third temple with, Amalek, these small hats. But I started off with this because, it's important to know what these groups are teaching. Because if you don't know, then what's going to happen is you're going to associate them just like anybody else out there. All Israelites are the same. No. Because everybody doesn't teach the same thing. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.